Thank you all for coming tonight, and thanks for the guys that come from the station as well. I just want to give you some facts of what we're looking at as far as the tax levy. It's going to be on the ballot in, 2 weeks? The ballot's going to say additional tax. So after tonight, I think you'll understand that has to be that way because of the way the legislation was written up and the way that the voting is done in the county. But you'll see that it's really a replacement when we get done tonight. So on election day, you're going to be looking for the new levy on the ballot. And this levy will replace the current levy that was put on back in 1983. Back in 1983, they put this 2 mil levy on. And if you don't understand how the tax levies work, whatever amount of money that you got from that millage or from that levy, when you passed it, is the exact same amount you get until you get rid of that levy. Well, over the years, we have just renewed that same levy over and over again. The only thing that changes on the levy is that if you build additional homes, then you get the tax from that additional home. So we're going to replace that with an 83. So you can imagine how much you and I's personal expenses have changed since 1983, and we're going to show you some examples tonight that's going to surprise you. It's pretty cool. The funds from this levy are only used for replacement and purchasing of equipment and or station repairs or things that have to go on the trucks. None of this money that this levy generates is used for our operating expense. All of our operating budget is from the contracts we have with Twin Township and Van Buren Township, and there's a small amount that the village puts in, which is our operating. So our payroll, our fuel expense, everything that we take to run the fire department is all not from this fund, it's from different funds that we have. And we have contracts with the townships, and that's how we get that money to operate on. This money is only for purchasing and or repairing. So it can be used for safety equipment that we wear. It can be used for equipment that's on the trucks. It can be used to buy a truck. It can be used for new garage doors. It can be used for anything like that, but not for operations. So again, no funds are used from that. And this started in 1983 as 2 mills. And as you can see, it brought in $22,000 back then. And I'll show you a comparison here in a little bit about a fire truck cost. Currently, it brings in right at $33,000, and if we reset it back to 2 mills, at this voting, it'll bring in around $70,000. So we're increasing more than doubling our money, but it'll still just be 2 mills, and now again, it'll be $70,000 from now until we do something else with it. Even though your evaluations go up in your property, this tax does not change. It still is the same amount of money. So, back in 1989, we bought the one fire engine. In fact, it's still sitting out here front tonight. We paid $156,650, $550, If I would buy that same truck today, it would cost $486,500. The firefighting gear we wear back in 1989 was $1,600 per person. Now it's $3,333 per person. We have 25 volunteer firefighters right now. So think about that at over $3,000 a person, how much that's going to cost to replace the gear. And that's another issue we have to come up with. We have an aging fleet. We have the new fire truck we got, and we have a new grass truck. But the other trucks are getting in the ages that we're having some problems with getting parts, having problems with getting old enough that they're starting to break down more frequently. So there's a need out there, not something we're going to do next year, whatever it may be, but there is still a need that we got to prepare for down the road. Another big thing is that at the end of this year, our air bottles, the air pack, and the equipment that we wear to allow us to breathe air as we go into a smoky building is going to be outdated. They're going to be more than 15 years old. We were bought in 2004 by a grant that we received from the federal government, and they're going to be outdated. Again, 89, that air packs cost $1,200. New ones today, $5,500. So you can see there's a huge difference in the cost of this equipment from back 20, 30 years ago. The National Fire Protection Guidelines want us to replace fire gear every 10 years. Now, most of the gear, was it 75%, is over 10 years old right now. At $3,330 some, I have to watch my budget, how much I can buy because of the funds that we have. We're also worried about cancer. We're finding out now that we are a much higher acceptable rate of cancer than the normal person is, because we are dealing with the contaminants from what this stuff that you're sitting on is burning. Because everything today is plastic, and there's nothing natural anymore. So this stuff puts off constituents that cause cancer. So we're trying to make sure that we have the right equipment to protect the guys as best we can. We were very fortunate last year to get a grant from the Workers' Compensation, which allowed us to buy the new hoods that we wear over our head and the new gloves that are to fight the cancer rate. And we were very fortunate to get that grant. Again, it's a very small amount of money compared to buying the whole gear, but at least we got that much replaced. So, new firefighter gear is going to help us. They're putting more different materials in them to help reduce the chance of cancer getting through to us. And we're hoping that at some point we'll keep replacing them as we go to get the guys into the newest stuff. So I'm just asking you to make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Make sure you think about what we're needing, the need here. The change in valuation at $100,000 property is going to increase $44. It's not a huge increase, but it's a very valuable levy that we need to be able to keep the department going well, to keep the guys protected, to be able to serve you guys, give you the fire protection you need and deserve, and to keep us up to date. If and when, and I'm hoping that for sure that it will pass, we will stop the current levy. So the current levy will be stopped, and I found out we can do that if we just tell the tax department that we don't want you to collect any taxes on the current levy that we have and start with the new. Currently, that levy is paying for the new fire truck you see out here. So that's kind of why we're doing it in the midstream here, so we make sure we don't lose that funding stream, because that's what's paying the loan on the new fire truck that we have. So, but I promise you that we're not looking at doubling the money. We're going to cancel that old one if the new one does pass. So I'm open for questions.
I saw 3 vehicles that were installed in the 1900s.
Yes.
What's the life expectancy of a vehicle?
Well, it depends how much is used and how much is taken care of. The NFPA, which is the National Fire Protection Association, gives us guidelines to follow. And they want us to have at least one fire engine that's no more than 20 years old. So we've got that. We're set. We got 2. So we're okay there. But we're looking at parts availability. And that's the problem more than the trucks aren't really wearing out per se. Yeah, there's some use, and they've been used a lot, and I understand that. But it's the parts being able to purchase in, and the fear of it breaking down while we're out to a scene or on a scene doing something. So again, I'm not ready to buy a whole new fleet, and that's not it at all, but I've got to plan ahead so that at some point we will be able to afford to do that. I'm sorry? That's correct. That's correct. Years ago when this tax levy was introduced, you could buy a new fire engine for $100,000. Well, 4 years of the tax levy, 30-some thousand, you could buy a new truck. And they used to buy a new truck every 5 years. So the truck would only be, when you have 3 of them, you only have 15 years old would be the oldest vehicle. Well, we had to stop that because we didn't have the funds because of the cost of the new stuff. So, yeah. But again, they're all mechanically safe. I got a great group of guys that take care of them, and we do the best we can, and we have to send some of it out for repairs, but at some point, it's like your car. You can get by with it for so long, and sometimes you got to replace it. Yes?
Can you give the breakdown of the number of employees with the fire department? And is there a crossover between the fire department and the rescue squad?
The fire department is a village-owned department. We are village employees when the pager goes off. We become an employee, and there's 25 of us right now. The rescue squad is a completely different entity. We have some people that run on both, but we're not together whatsoever. It's all separate.
So none of your funding?
No, this fund and all of our funding all stays for the fire department. We have a lot of people that are EMS trained, so we can help this rescue squad if they need help. We have guys that are trained to help us on the fire scene if one of us gets ill or whatever, and to help the squad people, so forth, so on. But we are not, there's no funding mixed up together. There's no, again, they're members of both, but they're still separate squads.
And do we have full-time firefighters, and are they on duty in the building, or?
No. The rescue squad is separate. They do. The fire department is still what they consider volunteer. We all carry pagers. We respond when we can. That's why I have to have so many, so that we have enough selection at a certain point to have guys respond. Our daytime help is very short. It is what it is, and that's not here. That's everywhere. But no, there's nobody at the fire station unless we get a call or we're down there for a meeting or something. Yes. Well, it's kind of funny how it goes up and down sometimes. Most of the years, about 140, something in that area. But just the other night was 140, and we're still in October. Now, we've been as high as close to 200, but a lot of times that was a result of, back, I remember when the storm went through here, one day we had like 20 runs, because we had so many wires down and stuff like that. So it fluctuates, but average, 130 to 150 probably is our number. And it's going to be tough for you as residents to be able to hire someone to be there for a run every other day. Basically, that's what it ends up being. But it is what it is. I gotta provide the service. You guys need the protection if something happens, If there's an injury, we go out. Again, we are assisting the squad. We have to cut the people out of the cars. We have the equipment for that. They do too, but they need staffing to help do that. If there's a wire down, tree limb down, they call the fire department. So yeah, if no one's hurt and there's really no road hazard, then they don't call us. But if it's an accident with injury or a road hazard of some sort, then they'll call the fire department out. Yeah.
Chief.
Yes.
You guys have the decontamination equipment that you need?
We have basically water. We don't deal that much with hazmat per se. We are part of the Dark County Chiefs Association, so they have all the hazmat decontamination stuff. But we are learning. We talked about the cancer risk. We're learning now that basically we should decontaminate our actual fire gear. It's really funny if we have a fire where guys get dirty because they're fighting over the wash machine at the station. They really are fighting. Who's going to work strict fire code first? It really is, and it makes me happy because it didn't used to be that way years ago. They wanted to look that way. I'm cool, look at me. But no, guys really do work hard to keep this stuff clean, and you got to because it gets in your skin, gets in your body. So we do have, yes, per se, but not a complete complement of all the tools you would need. But a good hose and a brush will do a lot of good for you. Yeah. Feel free to stop by anytime you see us down there and look around. We're at the trucks out front. They're going to run out and start them up so you can take a look at them on the way out. We're more than happy to always show you what we have.
First of all, I just want to tell you how blessed I am to have two public safety chiefs of this caliber. And I want to thank all the fire department, off-duty personnel, police department personnel, Arcanum's finest. Thank you guys for coming out. If I can hear a round of applause for everything that they do. Thank you guys. And I think we're going to get this posted on the internet, on our Facebook page. And if you're not following us, please follow our Facebook page, hashtag Arcanum, and pass the word on of any information you received tonight. And we appreciate it. Thank you all for coming out, and the Chiefs and I will be lingering around for a little bit. If anybody was too shy to talk and ask a question tonight, feel free to come up to us, and we'll be glad to entertain your questions. Thank you all.